Some people probably thought I was done with Jack LaLanne. No, 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 no. I'm not done with Jack LaLanne yet. So, one of the questions that people ask is, can you get jacked doing what Jack did? And let's see about that.
Hey, Richie, how you
doing, Jack?
Hey, good seeing you, sir.
Nice seeing you, sir, Jack.
Richie, tell us now, you're with the New York Police Department for how many years?
Well, I was with the police department for about 5 years, Jack.
5 years, huh?
Yes.
And did you really enjoy that?
Oh, yeah, it's a great job. Very nice. All police work is great.
So Richie is a famous bodybuilder. He enters physique contests, and he's very famous for his physical prowess. And he's now working with the Jack LaLanne Total Fitness team in the New York area. And Richie, just not too long ago, in fact, fairly recently, he lost 50 pounds in 50 days. Just kind of tell us just how this all happened.
Well, Jack, as you recall, you told me, Richie, come on, you got to get back into shape because I started to let myself go. And what happened was I just started to change my eating habits, just like you said.
As someone who has recently had to do this, now I did not lose extreme amounts of weight like that, but yeah, I've lost over 100 pounds in a little over 2 years. But the thing is, as someone with knowledge of how to lose weight and how to get in shape, it can be very frustrating once you have let yourself go to get back in shape. So this is actually a remarkable story, and people should pay attention to this. So he changed his eating habits, and what else did he do?
He has to start to substitute some good protein foods, eat things in the most natural state, instead of having my junk foods and drinking alcohol and eating all kinds of white flour and sugar. And I started to do that, and I started to average out about losing 1 pound a day. And every day I stepped on the scale, I saw a little more weight loss, and that obviously when you have 50 pounds to lose, you're saying, well, what's 1 pound? But as the time went on, it seemed to total up to 50 pounds in 50 days, and I really want to thank you for it, Jack.
You know, well, what did I do?
Well, you motivated me. You showed me the way, Jack.
Yep, I inspired you, but you perspired yourself.
That's it, that's it.
You know, see, when you lose weight, see, I'm not for all these big crackpot, weight loss things. If you lose it naturally, I believe in no drugs or medicine. You know how I believe in. But if you lose, like you say, you're losing a pound a day, and every day you see that pound come down, those inches starting to change, that motivates you. That really gives you that psychological boost to do more, you know?
Oh, definitely. And the problem with most people are that they become negative on it, and they don't see the weight loss in fast enough as like they want.
Yeah.
But the other...
It is very easy to get discouraged. That is actually why when I worked as a weight loss consultant at a mental health clinic, I would encourage people to try the Atkins diet or the Zone diet, because those two diets do help people lose weight significantly quite quickly. I would also encourage people to do the South Beach diet, which is, well, the old South Beach diet. The new South Beach diet is a little too into ketosis for my liking. But the new South Beach diet, the old South Beach diet is very similar to the Zone diet. And people, I think that's another diet that would work well for many, 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 many people seeking to lose weight. Also, just doing what Jack LaLanne says, which is eating whole foods, focusing on protein foods and vegetables would help you lose weight, which is essentially what the Atkins diet is. But you don't have to eat gobs of fat. So let's go on.
There is that you have to just keep a positive head, and as you're going down, and even if you happen to go off your diet slightly, don't discontinue. Get right back into it, because no one's perfect. We all make errors.
Exactly. That's a problem people have, is they beat themselves up. If they slip up, they beat themselves up. It's common with any addiction, but with overeating, it seems to be the most common that people... a lot of people don't consider overeating to be an addiction, but it is an addiction. It's a problem habit that needs to be broken in most people. And the problem is when people eat the wrong foods or eat too much food, they beat themselves up, as this gentleman's saying. And unfortunately, when that happens, a lot of times that makes them backslide completely because they feel hopeless and helpless.
But just get right back into it, keep a positive mind, and you'll be glad that you did it, and you'll lose the weight.
I don't know. You and I are very close friends, but will you do me something? Will you show my wonderful students out there your abdominal...
Oh, Jack, anything you say.
Yeah. I want you to see this now. You want to see what a well-conditioned... If he didn't have his fur coat on, you could see it better. How do you like that? Now, pull it way in. Do it. Complete isolation now. Now, see, this is the way you should be able to control your midsection. Can you imagine Richie here with 50 pounds extra on his body? I saw pictures of him. You couldn't believe it. He looked like a fat young man, but now he looks like a trim, younger man. Hey, Rich, I'm going to congratulate you.
Hey,
That's
Jack,
fantastic.
thanks a lot.
No,
Jack.
wait a minute. You know where I'm going now. I want you to show the student. I want you to go along now. Show them a couple of your favorite exercises that I showed you a long time ago, how to really get that midsection shape. Just show us, and we'll go along.
Okay, well, the main thing was that you want to work on the weakest part of your body, and I know that the weakest part of my body was my midsection. Besides, I had weight to lose from all over. A lot of people concentrate on the wrong areas. That have big arms, they still work on their arms, but I did some crunches because...
And everybody get on the floor now. Do these with Rich. Come on.
I bend my knees, and I would come up part way. Just part way, hold it a second, and come down easy.
In fact, we're going to be doing those in our next segment.
Two.
Now, I'm a fan of full sit-ups because they give you the full contraction and full, flexation of the abdominals. Plus, they stretch the spine and they work the hip flexors. But abdominal crunches do isolate the upper abdominals.
Same as you go up.
3.
Notice he kind of holds it there. That's it.
4. 5.
Go right along with Rich. Come on.
6.
And you notice what he's doing. See, he's making an effort to contract these abdominal muscles, which makes it more effective.
8. Now, Jack, that worked my upper part of my midsection. Now I wanted to work my lower part, so I did my leg raises.
Good. That's it. You notice how he doesn't let his feet hit the floor, and he keeps attention on the midsection at all times. Now, this is great. See, now you're getting scientific exercise. This is really getting the job done. See, you got to think. Now, I know when I work my...
Now, that's what's important to understand. Jack LaLanne was very scientific about the way that he encouraged people to get fit. He studied meticulously, and he was a doctor of chiropractic. Amongst the fact that he studied medicine, not professionally, but he studied it in books. He studied anatomy, he studied physiology, as he stated before, he studied a lot of things, philosophy, etc. But he was really hell-bent on building himself up the best he could, okay?
Just like he did. You have to think into this and make it hurt. Bring the blood in there as quick as you can. Now, what are some of the other exercises you're standing?
Now, Jack,
Up to the sides of your waist.
That's right. I wanted to work the oblique area.
Yeah.
So now I did side bends. I'd hold my hands overhead, and I'd go to each side, and all the way over, and try not to move the hips. Just...
These exercises are excellent for just about anyone also. And you notice how he's keeping his head and spine erect? That's important so you don't twist the wrong way or something while you're doing the side bends, and you focus on the obliques. But also it stretches the rib cage on the other side, and it stretches the abdominals on the other side. So you're getting a stretch and a contraction. And that's kind of how the muscles work, and that's good. A lot of people that don't fully contract their muscles and don't fully extend their muscles are missing out on that stretch, and they're also missing out on the full contraction.
Working that oblique area.
See what he's trying to do? Pretend that you had a walnut here and you're trying to crack that walnut right in this area. You feel, see? You don't feel it. That's hard as the floor.
And now, I go to the other side.
See, this is where the least activity is, so fat always accumulates there. So these, I want you to really do these. Because I like to keep my arms a little straighter.
Now, Jack is talking about spot reduction, which people say is an impossibility. But what is not an impossibility is the fact that toning the muscles and building the muscles underneath leads to muscular hypertrophy. And also, it leads to not necessarily spot reduction, but it increases the size of the muscle. And also increases the tone of the muscle, in effect giving the muscles a sort of like a facelift for your abdominals.
Keep your arms a little straight.
Okay, Jack.
Feel more.
Oh, sure, you get a lot more in there. Because you're stretching this.
Also notice he's not doing any crazy twisting crunch motions, which would potentially strain the neck, strain the spine, etc. He's doing side bends.
Coming down this.
See what's happening?
And the last part I would do is seated. I would have a broomstick behind.
Now this is excellent. This is the broomstick exercise that a lot of people do, where this works the obliques and it also stretches the spine, like I said. But notice he'll keep his spine erect.
On my back, and I twist side to work the obliques once again.
Now again, when he does that, Rich, you do again like you have your glute. Now turn. Now see, but this is activating everything along here between the oblique and the sternal, the spiny erecti muscle. It gets kind of where the fat accumulates right back in here. Now these are good things for you to practice if you have a midsection. Remember now what Richie said?
You can also, for that area, you can also use back extensions and stiff leg deadlifts.
Natural foods in their natural state, no junk foods, and that really positive thing about every day knowing you're getting better and better.
Natural foods in their natural state, and don't forget, you're getting better and better every day. That's how you go about getting healthy.
And that's the way to do it, right?
You got it,
Okay.
Jack.
Now you get one more exercise as we go out here.
Okay.
Let's give him an exercise you can do while. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Get in your chair.
Okay, Jack.
Now while well, we have our Magic 7 coming up. You know, we're going to do 7 non-stop exercise. That's our Magic 7.
We'll give him something they could do in the office.
Put your hands behind your head. You got a broomstick here. Now let's turn. Keep your head fast to your screen and turn. 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 You do this for 2 minutes now. Don't stop. Turn.
This is a channel called Golden Era Bookworm, where he explores the golden era of bodybuilding and the silver era and the bronze era, etc. But what you want to understand is the question, can you get jacked by doing what Jack says? Remember, I pointed out the book Setomatic, and I encourage people to purchase that book, or at the very least read that book. Well, let's see, can you get jacked doing what Jack says?
Of Jack LaLanne, well, I can tell you this, that he was probably the first true.
Also, subscribe to this dude's channel, Golden Era Bookworm.
A superhero of the fitness world. I mean, we talk about these days of Arnold Schwarzenegger when we look at the past, of Serge Nubret, Larry Scott. But when we look further back, people that really promoted the sport were men such as Jack LaLanne. And if you haven't heard of this bodybuilder, strongman, and super fitness guru, well, it's time to learn about him. Let's have a look at Jack LaLanne. The source of this particular article was of course from Your Physique magazine, which is the kind of magazine that I'm currently reviewing. The issue was 1949, January, with Steve Reeves looking epic on the cover. As I mentioned, Jack LaLanne was really, many call the godfather of fitness.
Notice what this says. He's a physical instructor, bodybuilder, proficient gymnast, physical culture studio owner. Diet was initially vegetarian. Keep that in mind. Initially vegetarian, strict vegetarian at that, which is what we call today vegan. He made great gains on a traditional vegan diet. Okay, he increased meats later and decreased carbohydrates later.
Not only was he a physical instructor, a bodybuilder, a proficient gymnast, but he also owned a physical culture studio, the LaLanne Physical Culture Studio in Oakland, California. Now you can see his transformation from a very, I guess, athletic young boy to the fully grown version of Jack LaLanne. Initially was a vegetarian and followed a very, I guess, healthy lifestyle, but eventually realized that for his own purposes, increasing his meats was useful in developing musculature. And
it's important to understand he was not a crazy meat eater. Like, he was not one of those 1 gram per pound of body weight a day bodybuilders, and people should take that into consideration. He followed a very reasonable, conservative diet, although I recommend 1 gram per pound of body weight for everybody, because that's what's shown to reverse sarcopenia and to prevent sarcopenia. He was not that kind of bodybuilder. He was not that obsessed with meat. People try to do that to justify their high meat diets. Bill Pearl, for example, who I'm going to do videos on him after this. Bill Pearl switched from his traditional bodybuilding diet when he was 39 to a lacto-ovo vegetarian diet because his cholesterol got out of control and he was very unhealthy from following a traditional meat-centered diet, and went to a diet that was like the diet, not exactly like the diet that Jack had, but similar to it. It was lacto-ovo vegetarian, where he ate, eggs and dairy also, but strictly vegetarian other than that.
Decreasing carbohydrates. And he does state in this particular article that nutrition really should be tailored to the individual's own needs. And I agree with that 100%. Because nutrition is an individual matter. It depends on our genetics, where we've grown up, the intestinal flora that your biology is made up of, and many other factors. So I really do think that nutrition, just like Jack LaLanne did, is a personal choice and should be personally discovered. Many, as I've already said, thought that Jack LaLanne was the godfather of fitness, and let's look at why. I mean, not only, as I mentioned, was he a bodybuilder, strongman, and physical instructor, but he also went around doing shows and teamed up to do hand balancing acts, initially with Ed Yarrick, who was Steve Reeves' mentor, then Jimmy Payne and Norman Marks, both golden era bodybuilders. The Jack LaLanne show was famous, obviously because Jack LaLanne starred in it, and you can still find these videos of Jack LaLanne on the Jack LaLanne show on YouTube, and they are great to watch. There's a lot of wisdom in Jack LaLanne's words that are still applicable nowadays. Of course, through this show and through his...
If anything, they're more applicable now. They're more applicable now to the transformation of poor health into good health, and from the translation or transformation of puny and fat into strong, vibrant, and healthy. His words, his wisdom is more applicable today than it ever was before because of the state this nation is in. Not to mention the state of the world. As we've spread fast food culture, obesity has spread, and so has ill health.
Strength feats acts that he did, many.
And I want to be sure that people understand this. Strength culture, physical culture, when I get into Bernard McFadden, strength culture, physical culture, these are American things, particularly Anglo-American things and Anglo-Saxon things that came from Great Britain. Predominantly Great Britain and the United States are where these things came from. And a lot of people don't understand that. These are not, people like to focus on a lot of nonsense and focus on the not so long ago past of, you know, folks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. The guys that really started this, like Bernard McFadden, and dare I say John Harvey Kellogg, who started a lot of this, and even Ellen G. White, this predates modern bodybuilding. Classic bodybuilding was mostly about cultivating the health. So can you get jacked doing what Jack did? Let's find out.
Throughout his life, until he passed away at the age of 96, was that he was also a promoter of fitness and of bodybuilding. On top of that, he was an inventor of gym equipment and owned, I don't know how many gyms, but he owned and opened heaps and heaps of gyms. I love this shot of Jack LaLanne. Check out his rib expansion, his fantastic side chest pose. The hips are ribs are thrusting out. He's got the vacuum happening. It's all there. Phenomenal. His measurements. Let's look at Jack LaLanne's measurements. His neck was 17.5 inches, waist 28, thighs 23.5, arms 17 inches, chest 48.5, hips 35.5, calves 15 inches, and at 5'7", he weighed 175 pounds of pure bone and muscle. Look at him. Fantastic. Look at that lat spread. Of course he can smile.
Rebuild your gums and teeth by letting this soft mineral melt in your mouth.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Imagine never having to see a dentist again. Are you or a loved one currently suffering with receding gums, gingivitis, gum infection?
I'd like to apologize for that ad. I'm not going to give that free airtime on my channel.
He can smile. Who wouldn't smile looking like that? Amazing. Golden era legend, Jack LaLanne. Check out Jack's incredible routine, again found on Your Physique magazine, January 1949. Wow, try this at home if you dare. Handstand press-ups, 6 sets of 20 reps, pressed behind the neck, moving from 100 to 170 pounds for 10 reps each set. Then he followed this with military dumbbell presses of 75 pounds with each dumbbell, 2 sets of 15 reps. Front and side dumbbell raises with 30 pounds, 2 sets of 20 reps. Bent over rowing with dumbbells, with 100-pound dumbbells, mind you. So that's 45 kilos each. That's pretty impressive. 4 sets of 10 reps. I don't know what a front lever pull-up is, but I'm assuming it is a pull-up done with hands in a pronated position. 10 reps only, followed by chin-ups with 90 pounds strapped around him. Unbelievable. 4 sets of 10 reps, followed with pull-downs on the lat pulley machine with using 80 pounds, 10 reps of 3 sets of 10 reps. It continues. Then he would do some stretching on the stretching bars. Stiff arm pullovers would follow 30 pounds, so moderate weight. 3.
Notice that he does not neglect his stretching. A lot of people today neglect stretching. They think somehow that stretching is going to make them weak and wimpy. Stretching is extremely important at preserving one's flexibility and mobility especially as one gets older, but also as one builds up more muscle mass and as one because if you don't stretch, you can become what's called hypertonic, where your muscles are constantly contracting in a way, and they're passively contracting instead of actively contracting. So stretching helps you learn to relax the muscles and avoid hypertonia.
Of 20 reps. The line press. Now, I think the line press, what he meant here was bench pressing with dumbbells. 50 pounds to 110 pounds dumbbells. 10 sets of 15 reps. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, if this line press isn't what I think it is. I think it is a dumbbell bench press. But doing 10 sets of 15 reps, that's amazing, especially with 110-pound dumbbells, moving up to 15 reps. That's very impressive. This would follow with incline presses, 90 pounds, 3 sets of 10 reps. Push-ups on the parallel bar, 3 sets of 50 reps. Full curl down on pedestals. Again, I'm not sure what that is. 3 sets of 10 reps. Incline curls, 50-pound dumbbells. 4 sets of 10 reps. Barbell curls with 100 pounds. 3 sets of 15 reps. Hindu jumps, 3 sets of 40 reps. Roman chair sit-ups, 2 sets of 40. Dumbbell cleans with 100 pounds on each hand. 3 sets of 10 reps. And then some neck resistance exercise. Wow.
Notice that he also does not neglect the neck. The neck is something that is very neglected these days.
Wow, that must be like Christ. I think it's about 20 or so exercises with many sets in between. Talk about volume, talk about a 2 to 3 hour program. Jesus Christ, that's unbelievable. No wonder this guy was a super fitness guru. Unbelievable.
Now, I want to be sure people understand that's not what's in Setomatic or Revitalize Your Life. Those books are more geared towards staying healthy. And also with Setomatic, it is geared toward bodybuilding, but it's geared toward bodybuilding without equipment.
I will finish this video off with some fantastic shots of Jack LaLanne in his youth. I mean, look at him. Check out what it says. Jack's all-round development is tops, and his perfect symmetry needs no angling of pose. He looks great from any viewpoint. Don't you agree? Unbelievable. Look at that V-taper. I mean, he's just staring at his own muscles, and of course you should. Everybody else is, damn it. It's unbelievable. Besides his world-famous physique, he ranks as one of the greatest authorities on the development of physical perfection. His first article in a series appears next month, and we will expect more at the Golden Era Bookworm. Definitely more from the famous and fitness authority guru, Jack LaLanne. These 4